What up, y'all? We are back with another episode of the M3L podcast. I'm your host, M3L. And first and foremost, if you tuning in every week and you watching every week, you sharing the episodes, I just want to say I appreciate you. If you new at this time right now, I would like to ask you to hit the subscribe button. If you listening on any of the audio platforms, make sure you hit the follow button so you can get all the latest updates on new episodes. Follow me on Twitter or Instagram at the M3L podcast. And now that we got that out the way, my guest this week is very unique, um, very intelligent, and it's just a blessing to have her on this week. So I want to get y'all very familiar with what she do. I know we living in hard times, and what she do can actually help a little bit as far as with the remote learning. I know a lot of parents is having trouble with it. I know I've had my troubles with it being home with the kids. So without no further ado, I would like to introduce Anna P, aka Miss H. How are you?
That was a great intro.
I've been doing this a
Real
little
good,
minute.
real good. And shout out to you. Shout out to
Thank
you
you,
in this
thank you,
podcast. Seriously.
thank you, thank you.
But yeah, like Mel said, M3L. I'm sorry, because I
Mel
call you
M3L.
Mel.
It's all the
Mel
same.
M3L.
It's all the same.
Okay, fine. Okay, so like Mel said, I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for about I'm going on 10 years now. Going on 10
Mm,
years, I've been teaching. It started with pre-K, like preschool. So I went to Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina. After completing school, I came back up to New York. I didn't land my teaching job right then and there, fresh out of college. So that's something else that's really hard for like teachers fresh out of college. Anybody fresh out of college with a degree, it's like really hard to land a job right after college. But I was able to meet some people in the education field and was connected and was able to like, get my feet wet with preschool first. So it was like the 3-year-olds, and then I worked my way up to pre-K, which I loved. But then I kind of mastered pre-K and I kind of mastered preschool, and I felt like I wanted to challenge myself more. So I took necessary steps and did the certification test to become an certified elementary teacher. And that's where I've been for about, I want to say like 6, 7 years. I've been in elementary, starting off with kindergarten. And then now I'm in fourth grade, and I've been doing fourth grade for about
right.
2 years.
Said I
Yeah.
was just about to ask you what grade you teach now. So before we get to that part, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to go back a little bit.
Yes. Let's go back.
Um
Let's take it back.
let let's get back to um what inspired you to become a teacher.
So I don't think I just love working with children.
Right.
So, and it's something I do really well. So something that made me feel like, okay, you know what? I think you should take it a little more serious. And this is your thing, was how well I did with preschool.
Okay.
Um, how well I did that, and how, I mean, we do this music thing. So I was able to cross my two loves with teaching and music, and like made a whole science album for preschoolers to learn science. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
Yes. It's called Muse Science. It's available on YouTube and anything like that. It's tons of music, children's music, rap, of course, teaching them about different science topics. But when I realized how well I was doing with 3 and 4-year-olds, I was just like, wow, I wonder what you can do with, first through fifth or kindergarten through fifth. I can't do junior high school, high school. Can't do them. But, I was saying, I want to challenge myself even more. And of course, my mother and my grandmother, them being, strong disciplinarians and really strict about education, it was always something that was instilled in my household, like
Right.
from the beginning. So I knew along the way it's something I wanted to do. And of course, having good teachers like can help mold a teacher, a future teacher. I had a couple of good teachers. I was fortunate to have a couple of good teachers that were amazing to me. And I was like, you know what? I want to be able to do that for someone else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I had a couple of inspirations, but I felt like my main inspiration was seeing how well I did initially with preschool. and getting like feedback, getting feedback from, your supervisors or other teachers and being asked to do trainings. It's like, oh, I'm that good at what I do. I always was taking a step further and was like, you know what, it's time to transition from preschool and get into, the more challenging, which is, school age children. But my inspiration has always been just children. I do really good with children. I work really well with them. And I don't always want to be in the classroom. It's something I want to get into, social work, get into more community outreach, because I feel like, the classroom is a great place to be. But once I've like just how I did the preschool, I did that, conquered it. I know I'm an amazing and proficient teacher. I did that, conquered it. Now I want to get more into the community outreach. You know what I mean? Right. Still being a teacher, because everybody's an educator. You're an educator. Shadana's an educator. You understand what I'm saying? Like, everybody's an educator. But just challenging myself and stepping out of my comfort zone is like my biggest. I work good under pressure, and I work when it's something new. So if I'm able to absorb all I can learn, then I'm going to take off with it.
Right. Now, we living in crucial times right now where
very,
even though things is getting better and like things are opening up, like you still got a lot of kids that's remote learning.
Yes.
So we always hear about how hard it is for the parents. Like now, being on the other side of it as a teacher, like what are some of the difficulties with that?
Okay, so the whole thing with virtual learning, distant learning, whatever you may call it, what everybody has to understand, we went from one extreme to another, right? We went from being in a building, children are, for years, we've been learning school in a school building, you know what I mean? So in under a year, like literally we just passed the year mark for the start of the pandemic.
Right.
It's a huge, we just made it like a little over a year. It's a huge culture shock to children, parents, and teachers. And me, I'm tech savvy, right? I'm not, I thought I was pretty tech savvy, right? But with teaching 100% virtually, I learned a lot. Like, girl, you got to brush up on your technology, because we're really relying on everything technology. So if I'm struggling with learning new apps and learning new learning platforms, I know parents are frustrated. I know scholars are frustrated. You understand? And we're asking children to sit in front of a computer for majority of the day. Okay. When it's hard for children to sit in their seat for a 40-minute period. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's a lot of stuff as a teacher. Of course, I'm going to do my job and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, but it's a lot of stuff with virtual learning I personally am not a fan of. I'm a hands-on teacher, you know what I mean? So being able to teach in the moment. I'm sorry. Being able to teach in the moment is a major thing for me. Like just teaching basic concepts, I'm able to see, if I'm physically in a room, I'm able to see, oh, he's getting it, but she's having problem with this skill. You know what I mean? I'm able to physically walk around the room, check papers, you know what I mean? Pull groups. Although, they have with the pandemic has brought out all new learning platforms, tons of new virtual learning apps and platforms that I'm sure we didn't know we needed until something like this happened in the world. But it's still difficult when your job is to move scholars. Like my job as a teacher is to move this level 2 to a level 4, or move this level 1 to a level 2. And I'm doing it solely on a computer. Right. So this is where it becomes a more of a fallback on the parents, because they're used to their children being in the care of a teacher 8 to 9 hours a day. And if you think about it, children are with their teachers sometimes more than they're with their parents throughout the week. You know what I mean? Some kids go to after school. You understand what I'm saying? So you're not getting home till like 7 o'clock. Then it's dinner, homework, and bed. So you're really spending the chunk of your time with your teacher. And to go from spending that chunk of time in a classroom with a structured learning setting to being at home with so much going on and you're comfortable, because I know working from home is a struggle for me. Like I have to make sure it's quiet. I have to make sure I'm focused. You know what I mean? So for children, I've seen where some children are doing fabulous with virtual learning because of the structured household they have. You understand what I'm saying? I've seen some children that don't have such a structured household, a lot's going on, which, I mean, life happens, you know, and some people got 5 kids doing virtual learning. So it's going to be a little loud. You understand what I'm saying? I see some kids that still has that issue at home, but still are thriving. Okay. And it stems back to structure. You know what I mean? If you're instilling like education in your child, no matter what, that child is going to succeed or going to put their best foot forward. You understand what I'm saying? Then I have some scholars that just need that extra push, and they're not getting that extra push at home. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, that would be my scholars that I would literally have to keep at my hip if I was in the building. You understand what I'm saying? Because they are the ones that easily slip through the cracks. And that's what's breaking my heart with this virtual learning, because a lot of kids are slipping through these cracks and are being socially promoted. And I'm so not for social promotion, because I feel like, why are we promoting a child to the 5th grade when they haven't mastered 4th grade standards? You understand what I'm saying? So once they get to 5th grade, they're going to be lost. Like, so they're going to be lost.
Like, with everything that's going on, it's kind of hard to like keep them back.
Okay. Yes, it is hard. It is hard to keep them back. But what my school has, what they has proposed, and it's something that my school is doing, because my school we did not do any in-person learning all school year.
Okay. So
we were all virtual all year.
Okay.
So we lucked up and wasn't forced to take the state test. So we didn't have to take the state test, which is a plus, because I felt like that's not fair at all. I don't feel like children should be forced to take a state test when the world was in the middle of a pandemic. And 95% of them were learning virtually. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So they wasn't allotted the same learning environment that they would have got if they were in a classroom. I don't think that's fair. You understand what I'm saying? So my school, we didn't test, which I'm very fortunate for that. But what happens next year? You understand what I'm saying? When these state tests come back, and now this 4th grade is in 5th grade, responsible for taking this 5th grade state test, but in all actuality, she's only mastered 3rd grade standards, because that's when school ended. Right. That's when school ended in 3rd grade. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So I just feel like these kids are 2 years behind, and it's gonna take twice as much work to get them where they need to be. You understand what I'm saying?
So let me ask you this. So like, from my understanding of what you're saying is, like, let's say if we got back in school next year, it's almost like you got to kind of bring up the information for that current year and brush up or get them caught up with the stuff from the previous year.
Absolutely. Like, I know what my school is implementing now. So we're teaching, I'm teaching 4th grade standards up until May 28th. After May 28th, the last month of school, me being a 4th grade teacher, I'm going to be responsible for teaching the beginning standards of 5th grade, just to get these kids ready. You know what I mean? Of course, you know, summer vacation, it's a proven fact that kids lose 1 reading level. And that's just proven because it's summer vacation. Right. You're not expecting kids to read every day as if it was the school year. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, but already we have kids already behind 2 reading levels. So they're going to come back 3 reading levels behind. So it's going to be, teachers are going to be working twice as hard, you know what I mean, to get scholars where they need to be. And that's fine, because that's our job. You understand what I'm saying? But it's a partnership with parents and teachers. You understand what I'm saying? And my parents, I have a great rapport and relationship with my parents, because I keep it funky. I keep it real. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I'm teaching my kids. You understand what I'm saying? And I need them to know that I want us to win all time at all. They give me all the knuckleheads, Mel, because they know that I'll make them work. Like, I'm going to get them to work. You understand what I'm saying? So I always have, like, in the beginning of the school year, I always have like almost like an intro with the parents. We call it with open house type of thing. But this year we did it virtually. So everything, my norms were different. So
Right.
I just told them, you know, being that this is a different kind of school year, you have to be present. That's the number one rule for parents in general. Be present. And I'm not talking about like physically be present, like check on your scholar. You know what I mean? Like just because they're telling you that they're completing their work, or
Still go
they
there,
tell
still
you,
check
oh,
in.
check on their progress. You know what I mean? Check their progress. That's the number one thing, because when report cards roll around, you want to know what's going on. Why is this great that? You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? And with like again, back to these learning apps and all these platforms that was literally invented in months because, you know, money and virtual learning. Oh, we got to get these apps out. I have so many apps where parents and teachers can have ongoing conversations throughout the day.
Right.
So whenever there's an issue with one of my scholars, I'm on the phone with them, their parents literally in the call, because I need you to know that it's not going to be no surprises once, you know, report card comes. You're going to know exactly why he or she is getting this grade. Yes, because I've been calling you since last month about it. You understand what I'm saying? But parents have to be present, check their progress. I got my notes. Let me get my notes. Be present, boost their motivation. You know what I mean? Like, it gets really, really boring sitting on a computer all day. Trust me, as a teacher, it's a lot for me. Some days I'll be like, oh my gosh, where's 4:30? But we have to keep them engaged. You know what I'm saying? Because if we don't, this is our future. Okay,
Right.
these are the children that's going to be leading. You understand what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
we have to make sure we instill um, education in them, but boost their motivation in the way that they're going to understand. So my kids love music. They love Pop Smoke. They love anime. They love Naruto. So I'm going to tap into anything
To
that
help the progress
interests
of learning.
them, right? To help us connect. So they know that, okay, Miss H is cool. You know, Miss H is, you know, she gets it. And then that way I'm showing them my care so that they'll show me their care by giving me their best work. You understand what I'm saying? So I always try, to create relationships with my kids. And I feel like that's what parents have to do too. Yes, that's your kid, but a lot of people don't know their kids. I'm in it. I've been doing this a long time,
True
a
facts.
long time. You know, they get in school, they act a certain way. You call a parent, oh, they don't do that at
Yeah,
home.
not my
Well, you
child.
don't know your kid exactly. You know what I mean? Um, have an open door policy with your child's teacher. Like, don't build no nasty rapport. This is your child's teacher. You understand what I'm saying? You want to make sure it's an open line of communication at all times. I have parents I know that started off a little, a little rough because they got tired of me calling. But once they know, like, oh, you care, you really
Right.
care about my child's progress. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, text or call me anytime. You know what I mean? So create that culture with your parents that, like, we in a partnership. We both want to see Tyrone win. We both want to see Shannon win. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's a partnership, and you have to get parents to understand that, because if they don't understand that, they're never going to be able to make their child take accountability for their education. You understand what I'm saying? And I feel like every child should be accountable for their education.
Right.
Period. Another issue that I've ran into with virtual learning: don't do your children's work. Don't do their work. That is a huge problem. Such a huge problem, because not only is it affecting your scholar, right? I know this kid isn't on a high school level in reading. You understand what I'm saying? Like, how am I supposed to teach him? And this is what the data is telling me, but I know otherwise. But this is what it's on paper, that he's reading on this level, but that's not the case in the classroom.
Right.
I know parents want to help. Like, I know. And the fact that you are so close to your child now and at home with them for a chunk of the time while through their learning, it's hard for parents to oh,
Yeah.
step back. You know what I mean? Because they don't want them to fail, or they don't want them to get it wrong. But that's what learning is about. You know what I mean? You have to get it wrong to learn where you made your mistakes. And
Right. Exactly.
I have a couple of parents that I had to, talk to. And I have, like I said, I have an open door policy with my family. So it's like, Mom, I see you on camera and I hear you. You know what I mean? Please just let him try this alone. Like, just try it.
Yeah,
If
let
he
him get
doesn't
it.
get it right, you trust and believe that I will do my job to get him to understand this skill and this concept. You know what I mean? that's a major issue for me. And it becomes an issue when now they're taking these online diagnostic tests that kind of measure what they know or what they've been taught.
Assessment tests.
Exactly. So it's like now these children are taking these online assessments, but the parents are really taking them. You know what I mean? Because it's an online assessment.
So you can't really. Now let me ask you this, because I know when Morgan, and this is an issue for Morgan sometimes where her computer moves slow.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
that and so forth like that too. Sometimes she has to use my laptop, but I know when she's using hers, a teacher can kind of see
The screens, yeah.
So, and then I'm glad also that you kind of brought up the relationship between the parents and the teachers. So, my question now is for those parents who wasn't really that good in school, or you know, they not so keen with schoolwork.
Yeah.
Like, how can they help with
okay, so
without being like they can't really be so much hands-on?
So it all depends on your school and what programs and platforms they have ready for the parents. So I know for a fact that my school, especially with the beginning of this whole virtual learning, they had a whole professional development for parents.
Okay.
Basically laying out the curriculum for the parents. Like, this is what we're using for ELA. This is what we're using for math. Here's a copy of the workbook. In some cases, and you, now I use my discretion with this. In some cases, when I have a parent, because I have had parents like, is this right, Ms. Hargrove? I don't know if, he's doing this right. Because I didn't learn it this way. Right. And it's totally different. It really is totally different. Basic multiplication, the way you and I learned, is totally different from how these kids learn.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Adding is different. I'm like,
yes, simple adding is different. I had a friend of mine was, a friend of mine sent me like, girl, what are they talking about? Number bonds and this is kindergarten. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just the way Common Core is. But
numbers.
Yes, friendly. Oh, I love friendly numbers though. But yes, but that's Common Core. But they're about to get rid of Common Core. But that's like another conversation. They're literally about to get rid of Common Core because it's just too hard. You understand? It's too rigorous for scholars. But with the whole thing with parents, they had a professional development where they showed parents how they can help their scholars, where they can almost do, like, we had Saturday schools. This is before school closed, where the kids will come in. Yeah, no, for the kids, and the kids will come in on and do like test prep, and then the parents will have like a literacy program. Like, literally, like, I think we teamed up with, it was like a community college that we had teamed up with, and they were giving the parents literacy classes. Like, I thought that was so cool, giving them technology classes on how they can work the laptops better and everything like that.
Right. For those who ain't so tech savvy.
Yes. But for me, when I have parents reach out to me because they don't understand a homework assignment, or they don't understand how to do the math concept or something like that, I don't have no problem sending my parents answer keys. I don't, as long as they're using it responsibly. As long as you're using it to check up on their work. You know what I'm saying? Not give them the answers. Because giving them the answers does nothing for me. Because on my test or Miss H test, I don't care if you got the right answer. I want to see your work. I want to see how you got to that answer. And my kids know if there's no work in the right answer, it's still wrong to me.
Right.
Like, I will give you points for showing work before I give you points for a right answer. You understand what I'm saying? Because
now I'm with you saying that, right?
Yeah.
Because with Morgan's teacher, right? Most of us, I'm sure that y'all pretty much do the same thing. Like, she does have to show her work, but then there's like something on like the computer where she has to explain her work and how she got the answer.
Yes.
So like sometimes, like, we had this situation with a few, but I wasn't giving her the answer, but I showed her how to do something, and it was basically division.
Yeah.
So when she had to write her number sentence, she was writing like whatever divided by this gave her that. Now the teacher knew she didn't teach them division, so when she was asking her to explain it, she couldn't explain it the way I explained it to her. Like I was
Yes.
breaking it down for her, but like she just couldn't remember it enough to explain it when she was asked. So like she kind of had to do it a different way to where it was understandable for her because they wasn't learning division. But
Yeah.
the 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 problem was basically division, and like I kind of had to like realize like Mel, like this is a 6 year old, like you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying, like so.
But it's, I mean, she's 6, but that's an amazing way to show her, division,
Right.
because those concepts, and literally, we were literally talking about this in a meeting in work. Vertical planning is real. Like the if a child miss those core concepts in kindergarten and first grade, it's going to affect them in fourth and fifth grade. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to miss something if they miss basic letter sounds and basic blends and diagraphs. That affects them reading. Like if they don't know their blends, their diagraphs, and their letter sounds, that's going to affect the fourth grade reading. And I have a fourth grade now that does not know how to read, completely illiterate. I do not know how they made it to fourth grade. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I know how to, clearly because of the pandemic with social promotion and all of that, but like even before, like it's so much missed as far as phonics with this one scholar that I'm like, it's nothing I can do. Like, you know what I mean? I try to pull her as much as I can. I even reach down to like lower level, a second grade teacher, a third grade teacher. Give me some work for her, because the work that I'm doing is just too over her head. It's
Right.
overhead. You know what I mean? So you have special cases like that where then you might have to talk to, you might have to talk to, your school's special education liaison with those cases. But in most cases, these children are lazy, Mel. And the fact that technology is so prevalent in this day and age, you know what I mean? It just makes everything so easy for them. Back in
They
the
got
day
the
for
short
us,
attention spans. Like if it ain't given to them, like
yes, if it's not on a tablet, they don't want to do it. You
right,
understand what I'm saying? Like I was telling my kids, like, oh, reading for me, I can't read on a tablet. I can't read on a computer, like a book, a novel.
right.
I need that tangible book in my hand. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot
For
of these kids
them,
don't know nothing about that.
they don't know nothing about it. For them, it's like, oh, my Amazon Fire, my Kindle, my iPad, my
But see,
iPhone. You know
I
what I
feel
mean?
like that comes back to the parents too.
Yes.
Like
Because listen, technology can be a great thing
yeah,
if you're using
it
it
is.
responsibly. You understand what I'm saying?
But at the same time, we gotta kind of monitor it because
Yes.
Morgan's into YouTube, but she got a time limit.
Exactly.
And at the same time, we still buy books, like hard copy
Yes.
books,
Yes.
like
You
to
got to
help,
have a balance.
right? And we make those trips to Barnes and Nobles. Like,
Yes.
let's go get some books or something, or read it
That
to
stuff
her,
is so
have
important.
her read to us and stuff like that. So that
And that's what you and Shadonna are doing. Y'all are creating routine. Y'all are creating structure for her. You understand what I'm
right,
saying? So it's like for her, it's second nature. It's second nature. She has a good balance of the technology and then being grounded. And I have a couple of scholars just like that. That no, I don't have to. They don't have to have a parent sit next to them. I don't even have to tell like some of my scholars routine because they just know. They just
right.
know. And then there's other scholars. You just gotta constantly, but then it stems back to the parents. Like, what kind of routine and structure are you providing at home? You understand what I'm saying? Because that same routine and structure, because I know my mother didn't play.
Yeah, shout out to
You
your
know,
mother.
yeah, my mother didn't play. So it's like, I need to be making sure I'm getting these type of grades, to bring home, because I know already the quote my mother said at home. It's like, you can't come home with nothing less than this. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, but I thank her for that. You know what I mean? Because that allowed me never to become complacent. You understand what I mean? And I remember the guy that got me into preschool, he used to always tell me, the day you become complacent is the day you should just die. Like, and it was really, really funky and raw, but it's really true. The day you become complacent, it's like you just gave up. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of these parents have became a little lazy with the virtual learning thing too, because it's in the comfort of their own home. And they're not really checking up on their scholar like they would if we were in a school building. Because, you know, in a school building, you have parent-teacher conferences. You are able to have pickups. You're going to have these impromptu conversations with your parents. You know what I mean?
That stuff is kind of virtual, like, so.
And it's limits. It's like a 10-minute, and then it's just it's not. I don't feel like it's virtual learning is the ideal platform for learning, and I can't wait until this pandemic is over and these children are able to get back into school.
So let me ask you this: us as parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it wise for us to like add on like little extra stuff at home just to kind of tune them up a little bit, or?
Okay, so here's my thing about that too.
Be like a little too much?
It depends on a child's workload. So I don't give my kids a large workload because I allot a lot of time for them to complete work during the day. But after I talked to one of my APs at my job, and she had to make me see something too. After you've been on the computer for 8 hours, do you want to get back on the computer, hard girl? That's what she said. And I'm like, I don't. And I have to be very honest. So she was like, think about these kids that can barely sit still. You know what I mean? Like, we have to remember that they're still children, and their social interactions have just been cut in half. So it's like, normally they'll be interacting with 26 kids a day. You understand what I'm saying? Normally they'll be interacting with the whole school at recess or wherever, you know what I mean? Right. And now they're limited to just their siblings and their mother because of what's going on in the world. What I do with the extra work is I tell parents, we have this thing called iReady. So it's almost like it's a learning platform online, but it provides that game feature that kids will gauge to. You understand what I'm saying? So I tell parents, anytime you want them to do some busy work or make sure they're sharp, put them on iReady. I love iReady. iReady is a great program. It's not a free program, but it's a great program that kind of meets your kids where they are. So they take this test in the beginning. It's like an adaptive test. So if they keep getting stuff right, they're going to keep giving them stuff harder. You understand? If they keep getting stuff wrong, they're going to keep giving them stuff a little easier. So it's adaptive to their abilities. So once they complete that test, it gives them like so many lessons. And not only does it give the kids lessons, it gives the teacher lessons as to what this individualized needs for the scholar. Like, this scholar needs help with vocabulary. This scholar needs help with comprehension and reading literature.
Better idea of what's going on.
Yes. So then I'm able to share that report with my parents. Like, okay, you want them to work on something. Well, she's lacking in vocabulary. Okay, so have her complete these vocabulary lessons. And that's why I love iReady, because that's what my extra work was. Now, as far as like, reading book reports and everything like that, that's cool. But these kids are not really going to read and do a book report. They're going to go online because they have all of this stuff at their fingertip. So to even make it better, make it fun, like make them write a book blurb or a book review, or do like a fake newscast about a book they read or a chapter, and have those conversations with your child. People don't talk to their kids about school. People don't be like, oh, how was school? What did you learn? You know, you ask it because it sounds good. You know, oh, how was school? It was good. So what did you learn? Ask those gauging questions. Like, what did you learn? Like, show me. Parents, she was like, I didn't even know how to do this. He had to come home and show me how to do this math. You know what I mean? Because it's I'm telling you, it's really different. Like, when I taught 5th grade, I had to sit down like literally a week before a math lesson, because 5th grade math is a monster. Like, it's really a monster. I had to sit down before each math lesson and be like, okay, like, you know, just refreshing myself with it. So just imagine how scholars are struggling with certain skills and concepts. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like it takes a dedicated parent and it takes a dedicated teacher to foster up a child. And they say it takes a village. It really does take a village. You know what I mean? To foster up a productive citizen. Now, you're going to have some parents that, you know, doing their own thing, you know, they feel like the responsibility should fall solely on a teacher. And I don't feel like that's fair. You know, that's why I talk about it as a partnership, because if they're not doing homework, that's not my fault. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Like, you are the parent, you have to enforce this and check their progress. You know what I mean? It's my job to teach, and trust and believe I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach and they're going to learn. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But I need you to enforce that when they get home, when they're not with me. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what it is. And something else I wanted to say about virtual learning, what I'm seeing a lot going on is that a lot of these kids are trying to learn, and the noise level in the house is ridiculous. You know what I mean? So it's like, you want your child to do good, but how can they? You know what I mean? Like, with so much going on. Right. So it's it's very important to, no matter how big your out is, carve out a little corner for virtual learning. Like, I know a woman, she has a lot of kids, but she has them all at that kitchen table. Okay. Like, they're all at that kitchen table, headphones in, learning.
Try to have it as much like school as possible.
Yes. Try your best. I know it's hard because it is your home, but try your best. Like, you don't unmute, and I'm hearing conversations. I'm hearing people arguing with bill collectors. I'm hearing power in the background. It's, you know what I mean? It's just a lot. And no child can learn like that. Even when the kids unmute, I'm like, go on mute. I can't think. Like, go on mute. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot. It's a lot now.
So let me ask you this, because this is one of my issues as far as with the remote learning.
Yeah.
More of on a personal level.
I'm still talking. I'm just grabbing my charger. Okay.
Do your thing.
Okay.
With the Zoom meetings, right? Because it's like she has, I wouldn't say a heavy load of work, but it's like she doesn't get the assignments to 8:30
in the morning.
Right.
Okay.
Her first meeting is at 9. She's probably gonna be on there from 9 to about 9:40.
Okay.
Then a 15-minute break. Then she has another meeting at 10.
Okay.
Then she's gonna be on that meeting, might be from 10 to probably 11:15. So now you get 45 minutes to try to get as much work done before you give her lunch. You know what I mean? Like, and like you said, being on the computer for 8 hours alone, even if she wants to, is a lot for a kid.
It's a lot.
It's a lot for us to be on. It's not good for your eyes.
It's not.
It causes headaches and that nature, and as far as your vision.
Yes.
So already that's not healthy. So then, like, right after lunch, so let's say if I give her an hour lunch, now 1:00 is another meeting. Now,
how's her workload? Like, as far as like when the teacher gives her these assignments, like, is it like a reading passage and then questions? Now, how is the workload?
Sometimes it seems long, but I've come to realize, like, and a lot of it she knows. Like, she could basically just do it on her own.
Yes.
So we're like I got it to where, like, she just comes if she needs help. Sometimes she has her days where.
But that's what we want her to be. We want her to be educationally independent. You know what I mean? But like you said, but still asks questions when she needs that help and assistance. You know what I mean? But that's awesome that she's completing the majority of her assignments independently, because that's where we want scholars in general. That's ideally where every child should be, completing all grade level assignments independently. Now, her day sounds different from mine because we literally melt on the computer all day. Like, literally.
Y'all on the computers as well.
We're on our call all day. So we get on at 8:30 and it's a grammar activity. So I'm teaching grammar, right? So let's just say my mini lesson's like 15 minutes of my grammar lesson. So the next 35 to 40 minutes will be them completing their classwork. You understand what I'm saying? Where I'm physically watching them, their screens from my computer, like who's completing their classwork. So I'm able to see who's just sitting there, not doing anything, and I give them those assignments for that week. I kind of give them the week to catch up on all assignments. And I try to make my assignments short as possible because I know, we're learning virtually. So I'm not going to give you a 4-page passage to read, to close to read, followed by 10 questions. I'm not. I'm going to close read the passage with you. Then you're going to do the second read alone. And then I'm going to give you maybe 3 to 4 comprehension questions. You understand what I'm saying? And then that's going to be your ELA assignment for that day. Right. Now, if you don't complete it that day, you have up until Friday to complete it. You understand? Before it turns into 0 in my book. But I feel like we can't expect to give these lengthy assignments and then have these children complete them in a timely fashion. Right. We have to be mindful, you know what I mean? That they're not in the classroom. They don't have textbooks.
It's like some of the meetings, she's actually doing the assignments with the teacher.
Good, yeah, good.
So, and I feel she strives more in those type of environments. Like,
yes,
like let's say like if she was in your type of situation where she's on it all day with the teacher, I feel she would strive more because she could ask them direct questions to the teacher. Because sometimes, like even with the math, like I'm good at math, but the way I do math and the way they teach her to do math is
totally different. Yep.
So like even when I'm showing her things and she's like, the teacher don't want me to do it like that, the teacher want me to do it this way. But to me, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. It's just adding more than me. Because it's like, let's say if it's 25 plus 15, like the teacher wants to break down the 25.
You got to break down the 15. Exactly. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I'm like, all you got to do is add down.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's initially, and what the Common Core is teaching kids how to get to the answer more than one way. So they want them to have a bank of strategies to use when they get to a problem.
You just made something make sense to me, because it was one time she told me, I guess there's multiple ways she's being taught to do it. So she found her one way that she likes to do it. She was like the teacher telling her, don't just do it that way all the time.
Yeah.
So now that makes kind of sense to me now.
Yeah, that's all it is basically teaching them a whole bunch of different strategies. You know, just to solve the problem. Now with me, with 4th grade, teaching them fractions and decimals and stuff like that, I always show them the book way, the correct way to get to the answer, but I'm still going to show you some tricks, you know what I mean, to make it easier for them to get to the answer, because Common Core is a lot, and it's a lot of steps when it's A, B, C, D, E, when it could just be A, B. You understand what I'm saying? But it's good for them to know both ways. You know, our way and the new way of learning. But as far as like her schedule, I do feel like the kids thrive more with staying on the call. You know, you have some kids that leaves, come back, but I'm teaching to who's there. You know what I mean? I'm already all over the place with trying to 50 tabs open on my computer, watching this kid, replying to this email, teaching, all virtually. So it's really, really a lot. It's a lot. And I personally don't like it, but I'm getting through it. It's something that I just can't wait until these school buildings open. Like, I just can't wait now, because I'm just not a fan of it. I don't feel effective, even though I know I'm an effective teacher. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel effective. And it's like, I just feel like I can be doing more if I was in the building. You know what I mean? Because when I was in the building, oh, you don't understand math? No, I don't understand. Okay, so get your lunch. You're coming back upstairs with me. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, no, I got it. No, you said you didn't understand it. So you're going to get this math with me. You understand what I mean? If necessary. Exactly. You're going to get this math with me. Like, I used to do lunch and learns where it was like, well, kids used to want to really miss recess to come back with me. You understand what I'm saying? Because I made it fun. Like, I wrote a rap. My kids were struggling. And when I tell them I'm a rapper, you know, little boys like that because they all think they pop smoke or whatever like that. So when I wrote a rap about race, which is a writing strategy for kids to write longer paragraphs to answer, like, you know, question-based text, but with paragraphs. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a whole acronym, like restate, answer, cite your evidence, explain your evidence. And I'm like, how can I get these kids to remember what race stands for? So I put on an instrumental and I just started writing a rap about it. And I literally taught my kids that, put the instruments on, like turned up, like we gonna have fun with learning. And they literally, like, they completing the test. This was last year when schools opened. It was like, friends, We erase. Like they sing in the head,
Right.
and it's like, yeah, you can't be quiet, but yeah, sing it in your head.
That's
Yeah,
it.
like you know
That
what I
that
mean?
that remind me of like when we was growing up. Like you knew that song. Your parents be like, you better know your schoolwork the way you know
And
that
you know
fucking
that
song.
song, yes,
Right.
and it's like it is what it is. If our kids learn a certain way, you have to tap into those ways that they
Right.
learn. Like it's okay for them to like pop, smoke, and want to read books. That's okay.
Right.
Like that's fine. Like who says because you like this person that dictates who you are as a person? You know what I mean? Like I have a student that did his Black History project on Pop Smoke. Okay, like you know what I mean? And it was a seamless project. You understand what I'm saying? And it was well prepared, and I just loved it. And it was like you have to teach them the way they learn. And I know my group, every group I have, I noticed that music and me being who I am, like all the time, they don't play with me, Mel, and they love me because they know I love them and they know I care, but they know I don't play with people's kids. You understand?
Right.
You're gonna learn with me. You understand what I'm saying? And your parents are gonna learn. Your parents are gonna learn to love me. There's so many parents I started off with, and now it's like, oh no, Miss H, do what you gotta do. Like, do what you
Right.
gotta do. You know what I mean? Because I built that relationship. I built that rapport. Like, okay, you want to be mad about so and so and so, but I'm letting you know this is where he needs to be and this is where he is. So how are we gonna work together to get him here?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's
Like
what's up.
that's my whole attitude about everything, especially with parents. Cause some parents are a little touchy about certain things because that's their kid. They're gonna be touchy about it. You know what I mean? That's their kid. But I wouldn't be a good teacher, an effective teacher, if I wasn't keeping it real with you about your child's progress. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, they're doing fine. No, I'm going to keep it real. They're missing 16 assignments. They're in jeopardy of like failing this report card, but I'm giving him until this day to catch it up. So now the ball is in your court. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty fair. I'm a pretty fair teacher. You know, and because I would want somebody to be fair with my future kids. You know what I mean? But you know, when I have children, they gonna be on it. Mommy not gonna play that. We're not playing that.
Now, that's what's up.
Education is number one in my house. You know.
So let me ask you this now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because now that we got into that. Now I want to because I understand like you have a side business as well.
Yes.
So I kind of want to talk about that and what
Mm-hmm.
inspired you to get that going and
So I've always been a crafter, like just being young, just being into arts and crafts, but
being a teacher.
literally, yeah, exactly, being a teacher and just being into arts and crafts. But literally, the pandemic brought it out of me.
Mm,
Like the pandemic was one of the beginning of the coronavirus was one of the most depressing times of my life. Just turning on a TV and seeing the amount of people that were dying was just like I had to turn up the TV. Like I couldn't turn the TV at certain days. Like I had to find something else to do. So that's when I tapped into the custom things, like the t-shirts, the pillows, the everything, to kind of take my mind off of what was going on in the world,
right.
and
Okay.
just to make me to take the anxiety away a bit. And it's actually something that I learned to love. You know what I mean? And it puts a little change in my pocket. So it's the best of both worlds. It's something that I really enjoy doing, and it's something I make a profit of. Yeah, but I do have a little custom business where I do a little bit of everything, on a little side.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's how I got into it. Just not wanting to sit in here and just can't go outside
Right.
because COVID. And it's like, if I'm going to be in this house, I want to be productive. You know what I mean? I don't want to get fat. I don't want to just be sitting here binge watching all types of Netflix shows. You know what I mean? So it's like, be productive, Anna. Tap into some new things. And all of this stuff is new. I'm self-taught everything. YouTube will teach you. Anything you want to know, YouTube will teach you. No, for real, that's a fact. Like, seriously. So I got into the custom thing, and yeah, it's been something I've been doing ever since. Like January. January.
Oh, so you almost
I passed the year.
You
Yeah.
almost had 6 months. Like, wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. No, January of last year.
Okay, so you pushing the year and a half mark.
Yeah, I did it.
Because
That's when I really.
I forgot the pandemic started last year.
It feels so long, right? It feels like forever. I'm
And you know
telling
things
you.
are getting better, but
Yeah, things are getting better, but I just feel like things will never be the same. You know what I
I don't
mean?
think so neither. I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't. I honestly can't wait for stuff to just go back to normal.
I think
You
we I
know,
think we're I think they're gonna try to make it seem like things are back to normal before the year is out.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Did you see the president's announcement today?
Oh no, I didn't.
Um, Vaccinated people don't have to wear masks anymore. I mean, and I got vaccinated because I'm an educator, so that was one of our, you have to be vaccinated before coming back to this building, and I get it. You know what I mean? Because we're dealing with a mass of people. But he made that announcement today that, as per the CDC, as of today, vaccinated people don't have to wear a mask anymore.
Hmm.
I mean, vaccinated or not, I'm still rocking my mask. You understand what I'm saying? Until this thing is completely gone. But that was the big announcement today. And I found it kind of weird because it's like,
That's the prep. That's the
okay, so I don't know. I'm just like, listen, I'm covered by God, and that's all I need at this point.
that's
Okay.
the prep. So for first I want the science video that you did, right? With the
Oh,
music.
yes. Mm-hmm.
First, before we get out of here, I want you to give them information to get to that.
Yes.
Hold
So,
on, hold on.
okay, okay,
Um, you could give them any way to contact you via social media.
okay.
Um, and just let them know anything you would like to let them know before we get out of here.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so my science album can be found on YouTube along with animated videos. So cute. And you can just type in on YouTube, you can put Mu Science, Musience, Mu Science, and it should come up. Or you can put Exposure, EXPOSURE, Inc., and it should come up. It's tons of videos. It's a 5 senses video. It's one about gravity. It's one about DNA. And that was like my hardest one to write, like to teach children about DNA. That was really hard, but it was really cool.
And
Um,
and that link I will be posting on the in the description of the YouTube version of this episode.
yes, yes,
So
please
for
do.
anybody
It's
that want to
great.
tune into that.
I also do tutoring services on the side, mainly on the weekends. So if anybody is interested in tutoring service, you can email me at Hargrove, HARGROVE, B as in boy, G as in girl, M as in man, which stands for Black Girl Magic. So Hargrove, BGM @gmail.com. I do tutoring services if you'd like to inquire about tutoring. I do a strong focus on literacy. Like I love English language arts. Like I just love it so much. But I do teach math, history, science, phonics, all of that. And for my custom business, you can follow me on Instagram at P_Y_T luxury. And that's on Instagram as well. And that's with all my custom stuff that I make and anything that's available for purchase.
That's what's up.
Yep.
First off, thank you for pulling up.
No, of course. I was
Thank
excited to do this.
thank you for the information. Um,
Absolutely.
hopefully some people find this helpful. I know I have.
Yes, and hit me
Um,
up about Morgan. Like, hit me up because um, I'm just an advocate for children anyway. You understand what I'm
right.
saying? Like, even when, because not all teachers are there for the right reasons. You understand what I'm saying?
Facts.
And let's just keep that a buck. And I've seen it in the years I've been teaching. I've seen teachers that really don't give a crap about our children. You understand what I'm saying? But it's like, we don't need you. You understand? We have teachers that really do care about the betterment of these children. And I'm one of them. You know what I mean? My tactics are totally different. I'm not the traditional teacher. Like I said, I use a lot of things that tap into my kids' interests, but trust and believe your kids are going to prosper with me. You know what I mean? But just anything you need for Morgan, tap in, text me like
I
Anna.
appreciate you.
Yes,
So
please
yo,
do.
that's our show for the week. We want to thank Miss H for
Yes.
pulling up. It's your boy M3L. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter at the M3L podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. That's it. Love is love. Peace.
Yes, thank you.